Member for Shortland.
Thank you, Mr Deputy Speaker. And on behalf of the member for Chifley, I move the motion.
You may proceed. In the terms in which it's...
In the terms in which it's stated before the House.
And you may proceed.
Thank you, Mr Deputy Speaker. And I proudly seconded the formal motion from the member for Chifley, which goes to celebrating the 75th anniversary of diplomatic relations between Australia and the great nation of the Philippines. And it is a testament to the work of the member for Chifley and the member for Greenway in their local communities around the Blacktown area of Sydney, which has probably the greatest concentration of Filipino Australians in Australia, and I pay tribute to both of their fine work in that area. This motion celebrates the strength of the bilateral diplomatic relationship, reaffirms the importance of the relationship and acknowledges the shared history and deep and enduring friendship between our two countries. Diplomatic relations were established in the aftermath of a global war which cost both our nations dearly, indeed all the nations of the Asia-Pacific. It was a relationship forged in battle. The late landings in the Philippines were one of the decisive battles of the war in the Pacific. More than 4,000 Australian soldiers took part in the landings and in the campaign to liberate the Philippines during 1944 and 1945. In several actions, escaped Australian prisoners of war fought alongside Filipino guerrilla forces in Mindanao. And after the war, Australia opened its first diplomatic mission in Manila in May 1946, only a few weeks before the proclamation of independence for the Philippines. In Australia, the Chifley government's vision for a post-war future for Australia rested on forging new diplomatic, political and economic relationships in our emerging post-colonial society. And in the Philippines, the country's leaders saw Australia as a natural partner for the Filipino people as the country became an independent nation looking to rebuild a land levelled by war. And in fact, President Rojas said, "Inalienable human rights mean the same thing in Melbourne as in Manila. Democracy, free elections, a secret ballot, free speech, free press and free assembly. All of these have an identical significance for our two countries." And on the next day, the Australian Prime Minister Ben Chifley responded with a message congratulating President Rojas on the inauguration of Filipino independence. And so Australia and the Philippines embarked on their journey of post-war reconstruction as friends and partners. And over the decades since that moment, the relationship has flourished and expanded. And part of that is there's a strong development relationship. Australia will provide $79 million in development assistance to the Philippines in 21-22. And that assistance supports programs to improve the health, education and economic welfare of people in the Philippines. And of course, there's extensive people-to-people links. The richness of Australia's multicultural society has been enhanced by the presence of a large, vibrant and hard-working Filipino community in this country. As at June 2020, there were 310,000 persons born in the Philippines living in Australia, making Filipinos Australia's fifth largest migrant community. And I want to particularly acknowledge the contribution of the Filipino community in my electorate of Shortland, particularly the Filipino Australian Society of the Hunter Valley, which this year celebrates its 40th anniversary. One of the highlights of my year as a Member of Parliament is the celebration of Filipino National Day. This celebration is one of the few community events that is a must-attend for both myself and my wife Kira, and we always enjoy the warmth and hospitality of FASHFI members at this special celebration. I'm also proud that FASHFI has its headquarters in Shortland, and I'm very pleased to have supported them over the years, most recently with a grant of solar panels for their hall. And while our community might not be as big as the one around Blacktown in Sydney, we're proud to have the only Filipino Australia-owned community hall in the country. It's a great local claim to fame. And I want to really spend the remaining seconds acknowledging that one of the great professions that Filipino Australians are overrepresented in is nursing and healthcare. They do tremendous work in our hospitals and our aged care homes, and during the COVID pandemic, they risked their lives every single day, making sure every Australian had access to quality healthcare. This is a testament to the commitment of Filipino Australians to this country, to making this country a better place, and to helping their homeland of the Philippines as well. So, on the anniversary of our relationship relationship, I want to say thank you so much for your continued support to make these two great countries even better.